Hello, my 8th grade English class. This is Ms. Zahner here, and we are going to be learning today Greek and Latin word parts. And this is the first lesson that we are going to be doing today. And this is going to go on multiple times throughout the year, but this is just the first one. So let's get started. So for our learning targets, I will be able to know Greek and Latin word parts. I will be able to know the definition of each root word given, and I will be able to use the word parts as clues to understand the meaning of the word. So if we look at a word and it has like multiple word parts, we can use each word part to understand the definition of that word overall. So what I'm going to have you do is either put together like notes or a flashcard, or however you want to take notes today, so that you can use this in reference for later or for our project that we are going to be doing today. So let's take a look at prefixes. Now we're only going to be looking at 4 of them, and the same with suffixes and roots, just so that I don't like overwhelm you all at once, and plus we can like break these up into multiple lessons. So we're only going to be looking at 4 of them. So our first one is hyper, which is by definition over or above. So if we were going to be looking at a word with the word hyper in it, so let's say hyperactive, we can see that it means active is in the word, but making it hyper, it means it's overactive, someone has a lot of energy. So you can see kind of how that word part kind of shapes that definition. So if we're going to be looking at the opposite of that, which is hypo, which by definition means below or less, if we were to put hypo in front of active, that means less active. So you can see how putting a new word part in there kind of changes the definition, shapes the definition. Now another one we're going to be looking at is homo, which is same. So if we were going to look at something from science, which you're probably learning right now, homogeneous means the same genes. So we have this genius, all these genes, and they're all the same, which you can see by the picture, they all look the same. So for hetero, which is the opposite of that, it's different or other. So if we're going to be looking at heterogeneous, that means that they have different genes. So you can see how hetero makes the genes different. And with the M&Ms, see how they're all different colors. They're not just one color, and that's just like a visualization of what that word kind of means. So for suffixes, we're also going to be doing 4 of them. So side means to kill, and for an example would be pesticide. So you can see the word pests, and then side, we're going to be killing pests. You can kind of see this with like farming and with if you have a mouse in your home. Now for airy, which is the ERY suffix, we are going to be relating to, quality, or a place where, and that's the definition of this word part. So if we have a bakery, we have the word bake in there, and if you put airy at the end, it is a place where people bake. So you can see where the airy makes it a place where. Now we have airy, which is an A, which is kind of the same. You have the relating to and a place where, but then you have the one who. So putting that A in there kind of makes it more personal. So if we have dietary, it can be relating to the diet or one who has like a dietary issue. So that makes it like kind of personal. And for tude, we have the condition, state, or quality of, and so if we have gratitude, which you all should be giving me after this lesson, totally kidding, but we have the state of giving thanks. So if we have gratification or thanks, and we put the tude at the end, we have the quality of or the condition of giving thanks. So for our roots today, this is kind of like the basis of a word. It like really gives the definition of a word. If we were to kind of look back at the prefixes and suffixes, we kind of see how those changes a word. This is going to be our root. This is the root of a word. It is the part that kind of gives one word like its actual basic definition. So if we have odd, it means to hear or listen. we have the example of audible. So if you put odd, it is the ability to hear. So you can see how that odd part gives it this definition of being able to hear. And we have belly, its definition is war. So if we have bellicose, we can see that it is willing to fight. That belly part here kind of gives us like the want to fight. Now if we have claim, we can see that it is to declare, call out, or cry out. And this can even be its own word in itself. But if we have exclaim, it is to call out, being able to call out. And you can see how that claim gives us its full definition. And then luna is moon. And so an example for that is lunar. And so if we have the prefix with the word, we're making luna as its prefix, we have it is relating to the moon. So for our activity, we're going to be going back to this list, and hopefully you kept your list or your flashcards or however you are keeping track of all of these. We're going to make a word using all of these different word parts and suffixes and prefixes. And I'm excited to see what you all come up with. So the goal is to make 3 words. We're going to put these together. You can use as many prefixes, suffixes, and roots that we've learned. You can even use like other Green Lagoon root words and word parts, but each word must have at least one part from this lesson specifically, which is why I had you keep notes so you can kind of go back and look at that. So directions, we are putting all these word parts together. We are going to be using the definition of each word part to create the overall definition of your new word. So let's say you have odd and tude, so you have to hear and the state or quality of with the tude, and you put odd tude, it is the state of how you hear. So you can see how the definition of the root and the definition of the suffix kind of created its own definition for this new word odd tude. And of course it's not a real word, but you can kind of see how those 2 parts together make its own word and its own definition. So we're going to be making a visual for your new words. It can be a drawing, a painting, a poster. You can use PowerPoint or Google Slides and put like clip art together, keeping it so that you're using clip art that you are allowed to use. And we have gone over this with how you can use the search engine to find like pictures you can even use commercially without getting in trouble with our digital citizenship. But whatever you'd like, and we're going to present your favorite new word to the class. So I have an example of what I'm talking about, and you can even come see me during class or email me if you are confused. But for my example, I used con, and I used con and I used war. So con belly. So if con means against, and belly, which is one that we use today, means war, we can see that the new definition for this new word is against war. And you can see with this picture that I use that this person does not want war, she's against the war. So you can see how that visually looks. So again, we have this word part here, and then this word part here, and we use each of their definitions to make it a new definition for this word. And I want you to be able to put the word parts that you use so I can see kind of what your thinking is with your word and where you're coming from. So if we were to go back to the learning target for this lesson, we have I was able to know the Greek and Latin root words, and you can see with your notes what we have learning today, and you can keep them running for each lesson that we do on this. I am able to know the definitions of each root word, so hopefully you wrote down the definitions of each one as I went along. And I will know how to use the root words as clues to understand the meaning of the word. And as we could see with each part, we can see that this part meant this, and if you add this part, it means this, and how all of those definitions make its own definition for the word. And if you have any questions, you can talk to me or let me know, or if you're confused on anything, please let me know. I'm available during class or by email if you're watching this at home. So I'm excited to see what your words are going to be, and I'm excited to see how it is presented. And if you need a reference to what words I'm using, I have this website here, and I will make it available. A teacher had put together a PDF of the words that she uses with her 8th graders, so I'm excited to go through these for the rest of the year with you. So, yay! Thank you so much for listening to this lesson. Have a great day.